Alan Turing and his contribution with a few limited computer science background, and we know the contributions given by Alan Turing for the last few years and decades. So his birth was on 23rd June 1912 in London. He is a British mathematician, logician and computer scientist. And Alan Turing was a British mathematician, as I said, and a logician and cryptanalyst and computer science.
In its purest form, mathematics is the search for truth. It's the solution to the problem. This year is a special year for me and other mathematicians like me, as it marks 100 years since the birth of Alan Turing, who possessed perhaps one of the greatest mathematical minds of the 20th century.
Turing was a mathematician, cryptographer and pioneer of computer science, whose life was one of secret triumphs shadowed by public tragedy. Perhaps known today for his part in breaking the German Enigma code during World War II, Turing was by that time already established as a mathematician of extraordinary capability. Born on the 23rd of June 1912, Turing spent his childhood split between Hastings in Kent and Sherborne in Dorset, displaying a precocious talent at school for maths and science, including condensing Einstein's theory of relativity for his mum at the age of 15. Turing's abilities led him to receiving a scholarship at King's College, Cambridge.
He arrived here to study as an undergraduate in 1931. Like many great minds, Turing was never happier than when he had a problem to solve. And in keeping with the exceptional skill and ambition he had already displayed, he turned his attentions to the decision problem, or Entscheidungsproblem in German.
Laid out by the legendary German mathematician David Hilbert at the turn of the century, the problem was one of the most important unsolved mathematical challenges for the 20th century. It was here in the spring of 1935, by the flow of the River Cam at Grantchester Meadows in Cambridge, that Turing decided to take on the giants of mathematics at the time. Turing conceived of a hypothetical machine that reads symbols on a strip of tape, rewriting or deleting them based on a finite set of rules. In fact, originally, Turing described a person slavishly performing these operations. He called this person the computer. Given a problem to compute, this machine would either stop and give you the answer, or run forever if the answer doesn't exist. Turing mathematically proved that you can never know if and when the machine will stop. He did this by creating the definitive example of the undecidable problem, an astounding feat that disproved Hilbert's question of decidability, showing that dark areas in mathematics will always remain a barrier to complete truth.
The imagined Turing machine model went on to become one of the cornerstones of computer science, and is arguably one of the most influential mathematical abstractions of the 20th century. And Turing was only 22.
Returning to Cambridge following time at Princeton, Turing began working for the Government Code and Cipher School, the UK's codebreakers.
For many years before the Second World War, the German military had been using a cipher machine called Enigma to encrypt their secret messages.
About the size of a typewriter, an Enigma machine has a second set of letters that light up, called the lamp board. If you press a letter on the keyboard, the machine generates a different letter to represent it on the lamp board, creating the code. The standard Enigma machine had over 150 million possible daily settings. Inside an Enigma are 3 rotors, which turn after pressing a key, making the wires of the circuit rotate, thus changing the circuit completely. So pressing the same letter will generate a different result. Double letters, for example, may not become double letters in the code. Enigma posed a formidable challenge for the Allied codebreakers. Codebreaking is a battle of mathematical wits and cunning, and during wartime, the stakes are high. Turing relished such challenges. A day after the UK declared war with Germany, he reported to Bletchley Park for work on breaking the German Enigma cipher. Turing's contribution to the codebreakers was quite simply vital to the war effort. Not only did he make the first breakthroughs with the naval Enigma code, allowing Britain's food and supplies to be shipped across the Atlantic, but along with Gordon Welchman, he designed a machine to smash the German Enigma code, called the bomb, named for an earlier Polish code-breaking machine. By using the fact that the German codes often contained a common phrase, such as those found in weather reports, the codebreakers would try and guess a short phrase or crib that might appear in an Enigma message. They would input this guess into the bomb, designed to perform a sweep of the myriad ways in which an Enigma machine could have been set up. By using the principle of contradiction, combined with extraordinary mathematical insight, the codes were eroded and eventually cracked. On a good day, the bomb machine could find an Enigma setting in 15 minutes.
In 1945, Turing received an OBE for services to the Foreign Office, though the real reason for this honour remained top secret for another 30 years, long past Turing's death.
Today, historians believe that the work of the codebreakers shortened the war by 2 years, and in doing so, saved countless lives. Following the war, Turing went on to work at the University of Manchester and continued to make hugely significant contributions to computing and later biology, until his death in 1954. He is credited with laying the foundations for computer technology and artificial intelligence, and worked on the first recognisable modern computers.
In September 2009, 55 years after his death, the British government made a public apology to Alan Turing.
Turing was gay at a time when it was illegal to be gay. On discovering the truth about his sexuality, the authorities forced Turing to endure horrific hormone treatment. He was labelled as a security risk, and he lost his job as a codebreaker. In the end, Turing committed suicide by biting from an apple laced with cyanide, a desperately sad end to the life of a genius.
Today, we live in a world dominated by computer technology.
From cars to smartphones, desktops to rockets, life in the 21st century is almost unimaginable without computers.
They facilitate our existence. For Alan Turing, hero of Bletchley Park and father of computer science, this was never the aim, or even the point. He cared about filling the gaps in our knowledge, about finding the light, the truth, the solution to the problems.
University of Calicut as a different place, and especially Dr. Letish, who invited me to give a talk here, and also Madhu I know personally, so I hope that it's a home place for me. I'm basically from Calicut. So before getting on to the talk, the context is Alan Turing, and he, as a founding father of the discipline, as Letish said, maybe it is the right time to check what exactly the discipline is. Many times, because of the lack of knowledge of the discipline, we want. So what is expected is to maybe have a picture regarding what exactly our discipline is. Let me put the goal something like this. What exactly I'm supposed to expect maybe out of this. And put it this way, to provide a perspective for those who need to understand what the major computing disciplines are and how they compare and complement each other. In the sense that, maybe if you look at even University of Calicut, you have programs like, I suppose, MSc, you have NCA, I suppose in the other corner we have the Bachelor of Technology, and you know that if you look at in general, you have Bachelor of Technology in Computing Science,
And then you have Bachelor of Technology in Information Technology, you have MCA, and now the question comes in, what exactly are the difference between, or is the difference between, let's say, BTech in Computer Science and BTech in IT, for example? How do you answer this? Suppose I put the question, what is the difference between BTech in IT and BTech in Computer Science? How do you answer that? Suppose somebody asks you. Now, normally what we say is that a discipline, you can say that a discipline emerges when we have enough body of knowledge that can be studied in isolation and in depth. That's how discipline emerges. You can say that science turned into, let's say, mathematics, physics, chemistry, and we can talk about the sub-disciplines whenever we find that there is enough body of knowledge that you can study in isolation. So here we talk about BTech in Computer Science and BTech in Information Technology. So how do you differentiate that? Do we really need that kind of a separation, or one BTech course would have been sufficient? That's the kind of question I'm asking. Or even MCA. You have an MCA program. How exactly MCA program is different from BTech IT? Okay, there is a 3-year, 4-year difference, of course, I know that. But talking about when you finally come out, what do you expect from these two people? Is it different? If so, what? I'm looking for an answer because this is basically the point here. Yeah, you're looking for how exactly we look at the discipline, what exactly our discipline is. When you talk about we are computer scientists or computer related people, and we should know what exactly they're supposed to do. Or rather, understanding is better. So maybe somebody can answer that. IT and BTech in IT and CS difference, or let's say BTech in IT and MCA. Maybe IT and MCA are here. So those who are studying MCA or IT, how do you look at it yourself when you pass out? Any comments? Are you on the same platform, both degrees? Or you consider you're different from the other? And it's a what? No answer. No, we're trying to. There's no clear answers to many questions. That's the way in which I always look. And this talk is essentially trying to have some kind of an understanding how exactly you can differentiate, maybe, if necessary. If you don't want to, that's also fine. But sometimes it helps. And why it helps is, basically the point is, now here the problem is basically, if you look at computing, it's a broad discipline that crosses the boundaries of, let's say, you can say science, engineering, business. So it encompasses all aspects of life in a sense. So although it is confusing what exactly this discipline is because of that kind of a pervasiveness. So we have to be really careful as far as understanding what exactly this discipline is. And maybe to slowly understand what exactly the discipline is, maybe I ask the question, calling our discipline, whether it should be called really computer science or computing science, that may be one of the way to start understanding our discipline. Should it be computer science or should it be computing science? Now why I ask this question is, the way in which I can actually put an analogy as far as this is concerned is something like this. Professor Dreisler asked the question, will we call a surgeon as a knife science? A surgeon basically uses the tool knife, and will we call him as a knife scientist? The question is something similar here, right? Are we computer scientists or are we computing scientists? Pardon?
What is it?
Yeah, more or less. See, the thing is, you said correctly, when you talk about computer, normally we mean the hardware, right? And what are we, right? Let's say your programs, MSc and MCA, what do you stand? What are you considered to be, computer scientists or computing scientists? See, when we actually revised the curriculum in National Institute of Technology, Calicut Computer Science Department, we had a discussion, right? What exactly the disciplines? We always ask them whenever we revise the curriculum. And then we were clear. Before talking about the subject, etc., we are trying to understand what exactly it is. See, if you look at the history, even in NIT Calicut, the course started as, it was Department of Computer Engineering earlier, Computer Engineering, now it is Computer Science and Engineering. Okay, it was evolved that way. And then you can see that when we started with the computer engineering, there were a lot of courses, hardware, microprocessor, all those things. Now 2010 we revised, we were clear. Our products are not supposed to have contributions in the hardware. That's a decision we made, very clear. So he said, our products are not supposed to have a contribution in the hardware side, the machine as such. It is basically software. But we do have courses like organizational architecture. That's basically to have a feel of what exactly the machine is, on top of which we assembly build things. So, hope the question is clearly relevant, and an understanding of this question and an answer, how exactly you wanted to, goes a long way as far as understanding what our discipline is. So we at National Institute of Technology Calicut has said that it is basically computing science which we are talking about, the machine as such, the hardware. That's not really our role here. We leave it to electronics or I'll say electrical departments. Okay. So that's basically the point. If you are not able to differentiate that, a curriculum will have a lot of courses. Yeah, that is finally going to have a lot of courses which you have somehow put in, sort of. Does it really form a